Have you ever thought about building an elastic band powered plane that you could ride in? Well, we're not going to do that because it's a silly idea, but could I make a car powered by elastic bands that will push me along? And what sort of elastic bands would we need? I'm pretty sure the elastic band in this little plane is not going to be any good, so I found these resistance bands for fitness training on Amazon that are really easy to get hold of, and they're really, really tough and really stretchy. So let's give that a go.
I've made this test rig out of 40/40 extrusion, so it's really tough because we're going to tension the band along its length, and we've also got some cheap thrust bearings which are actually 4-inch Lazy Susan bearings, which squish really well because there's ball bearings between the layers of steel. We've got an end cap to go in there, and we're going to tension the band down the length of this mechanism. I've used the 50mm resistance band. It's anchored to one end, and at the other end it goes into the rotating part, so we can wind it up and see what happens.
So what's going to happen is we're going to wind this up by turning it round and round and round and twisting this elastic band and then letting it go. And we need to see how much torque there is on here and how much twist we can get on here and how long it will unwind for. Right, here we go. Let's give it a twist. Could probably have done with a proper handle on here, but never mind. Right, so we can see now we've got this bit of twist, and now this is all getting like double twisted. And it's quite easy to turn at the moment, which probably means, oh, there's quite a bit of force in there actually. Oh yeah, that's getting tight now. Haven't counted how many revolutions I've got out of it, and now it's getting like triple twisted. Right, now we've got this sort of twist that you get on rubber band powered planes, where it looks like it's kind of twisting over itself. So I reckon we get quite a lot of revolutions out of this, which means it should unwind for quite some time. Still winding up quite easily with my hands. And it feels like if I let go of that now, we definitely, with the right reduction, be able to drive a wheel and push me, so that's good news. Right, well I can keep twisting it actually, but I reckon we get a lot more out of this. Okay, I let go by accident. So it unwound really quick, but we don't know how much force we're going to get because there's no real load on it, so I wasn't measuring it. And also, there's no load on it, so it just unwound really quick. So I think the best thing to do is put some sort of gear arrangement on the end and put a wheel on it, try and push myself along. So I'm going to put a 2-to-1 bevel gear on the end, and then try and push myself along on a trolley or something like that.
Time to print some gears. These are just in PLA on the Prusa printers, so they're pretty good quality, with a 0.2mm layer height and a 0.4mm nozzle. The big one has 60 teeth and the small one has 30 teeth, so we've got a 2-to-1 reduction. The small bevel gear has 2 bolt holes so that I can bolt that onto the end piece, and the big one has a piece of 40/40 extrusion fitted in it. I'm going to run these on bearings so they run super well, and I can put an axle in on the back of this contraption. So there they are in place, and that's my 2-to-1 reduction that should give us twice as much torque as we get out of the elastic band. I found these off-the-shelf wheels and I printed hubs for them which fit perfectly onto those spokes. The hubs have some big holes in which I can just drill straight through into the plastic hub of the wheel, and then I can bolt those together, which means I can attach my axle onto the 40/40 extrusion along with that big bevel gear, and hopefully that'll be enough to push me along. So that looks like it's running pretty well. This project has been attempted before by other YouTubers. About 2 years ago, Joel Creates made an elastic band powered car, but he didn't get very far in it, and his car was very, very heavy, which is probably why, because all that extra mass is going to make such a big difference. Backyard Scientist also built a car, but that was powered by a giant mousetrap because he likes big springs, so it's actually not elastic, it's a metal spring. And that went quite a way, but still not a really impressive distance. So I think I'm going to try and target 10 metres or 30 feet for this project. So the easiest way to wind this up without getting my hands caught in it or anything is just to push it along by its wheels. So that winds up quite quick with that 2-to-1 reduction. So let's keep winding and see what happens. I can definitely feel the tension, but not enough to push me by the feel of it, so I'm going to keep winding. I'm a bit concerned about overwinding and whether the band would just snap, but so far it feels a bit loose, so there's not really that much tension, and probably that 40/40 is overkill. Well, that's wound up a lot over itself multiple times, but it still feels okay, so I don't think it's going to snap. But I still want to be quite conservative and make sure it doesn't, otherwise I've got nothing to test with, and that feels like quite a lot of tension, so I'm going to try and push myself along and see how far we get with this arrangement. Well, it does push me along, but it's not very impressive for a YouTube video. I think I probably got less than 2 meters or 6 feet, so I decided to keep winding and see what happens.
Well, it snapped. And there wasn't enough force to push me, even though I wound it loads. It looks like it's just snapped clean in the middle.
So that band has weirdly snapped through both pieces in exactly the same place, which really wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting that it would snap on that piece of metal that was holding it on the spinner, but that seems perfectly intact. So that seems pretty weird. The band is overwound though, so it's permanently deformed, and that means it won't lay flat, and we probably can never use it again, even if it hadn't broken. So that means we've reached the limit of how much we can wind these. Well, we actually managed to wind it up quite a lot, probably over 30 to 40 metres of pushing, and we only got 2 metres out of it, which basically means we've got a motor that's not strong enough. There's a solution to that, which is of course having a further gear reduction so that we can get more torque from the stored potential energy that we had in there. Then perhaps I won't have to overwind it, and then it won't break, hopefully. So we need some more gears. This is a 20 tooth little pinion, and then we've got a big one with 30 teeth, which gives us another 3-to-1. So with that fitted on there as well as the original bevel gears, we now get a 6-to-1 reduction in total. So it winds up a lot quicker now, but it seems to have much more torque with that 6-to-1 instead of the 2-to-1 on it. But will it push me along without massively overwinding it? I was pretty sure I'm not going to get very far, so I decided to just do this in my kitchen. So let's push it and see if it will push me back. And I'm hoping it will push me the distance that I wind it up so we get maximum efficiency out of the band and we don't have to overwind it. So that definitely pushes me back more easily, and it's easier to get started with twice as much torque. But how far do we get? So I think we actually got a little bit further this time, around 9 feet or 2.8 meters. And importantly, the band is not all stretched and awful or deformed, it seems pretty much okay. There's a couple of little kinks in it that I can just see, but we haven't overwound it. So that's really good. It pushed me back all the way that I wound up the band and started to wind it back up the other way because we had some inertia because we got a bit of velocity. So even though it only got me 2 meters, I know that my gear ratio is probably the most efficient, and that means that I can go much further. And the way I'm going to do that is by using lots and lots of these bands to make the whole thing over 10 times longer. And then we can go 10 times further. But I don't really want the car to be 10 times longer because that'd be ridiculous. So the plan is to use multiple elastic bands but bend them round corners using gears so we can go backwards and forwards between the two ends, and then we can get at least 18 bands in there. Holding back all that tension of the 18 elastic bands is going to need quite a strong structure, and of course I want to ride on it too. So these extrusions are really strong and rigid, and they're really easy to put together because they have T-slots so we can use plates and T-nuts. So thanks to PCBWay for sponsoring this video. PCBWay are a reliable one-stop shop for all your project or product manufacturing needs, all under the same roof. As well as PCBs, they manufacture 3D printed metal parts and CNC metal parts with a variety of materials and finishes, including aluminium, stainless steel, titanium and tool steel. I had all these aluminium plates made by PCBWay for this project. So I've got some L plates, some T-shaped plates and some straight joining plates which I designed to fit on the 4040 series extrusions. It's easy to upload your digital part file and get a quote to have it made with PCBWay's CNC services or 3D printed in metal, as well as other processes such as SLS, SLA, DLP, FDM in a variety of materials, including various resins, nylon, PLA, ABS, TPU, PEEK and more. I'm using M5 bolts and T-nuts to bolt the plates down to the extrusions, which makes a really rigid joint. So this has enabled me to put the whole thing together just like a giant construction kit.
Use my special coupon code PCBWay James Bruton 10 at PCBWay.com, and I'll put that in the video description as well. You can get $10 off orders over $30 on PCBs and assembly, CNC, 3D printing and other services.
I've got a base which has lots of T-pieces, and that extrusion's definitely going to hold the tension, and more brackets to go in the corners so we can put the whole thing together. So I'm basically making a box which has a bottom and 2 sides on and a cross brace along the top. And then I have these vertical rails on the ends. Each one of those is going to hold a bunch of Lazy Susans so we can get 6 in a row. And of course that means we need a load more of these end caps and we need gears to bind them all together. Those Lazy Susan bearings are square, which means they don't go close enough to rotate next to each other for the gears to bind, so I spent a very long time with an angle grinder cutting the corners off the top part that's going to rotate. So now those fit next to each other and they can rotate next to each other, and when we put the gears on, the corners of the Lazy Susan don't hit each other, but the gears can bind.
So the band now goes from this bevel gear that was the output all the way past a pair of gears, all the way back, past another pair of gears and all the way up here. So if I wind this up, then we can see these get wound, but eventually it conveys the tension out to the bevel gear. So the plan is to keep going up and down with 18 of these bands and see if we can wind the lot up and still get the output.
So I've clamped the 6th one right at the top to stop it unwinding, and then I've got tension throughout all of the other 6, and at the moment there's a clamp on the bottom. But what happens if I let it off? So our band is essentially 6 times longer, so it unwinds 6 times longer. It hasn't unwound completely, but even if it was really long, I don't think it would anyway, so it seems kind of the right equivalent. And I put the output stage back on, but I made it a bit longer, so now we have the wheels, and we still have that 6:1 reduction after all of the elastic bands. It was one of the hottest days on record for 50 years, so I decided to do this in my basement workshop rather than going out in the heat of the sun. So I was hoping this would push me back again as far as I pushed it, trying to get some of the tension through all of the belts there, but actually when I got on it, even though I pushed it about 5 metres, we don't get very far at all. So let's keep winding it and see what happens. Well, not a lot so far, so I'm going to keep winding it even more. Well, slightly better, but still not that great. It feels pretty tight now, and I don't want to overwind those bands, so let's see what we can get out of it. So measuring from where I started at the grey dust extraction bin all the way over to the other end of the workshop, we only got about 4.8 metres. So we didn't get 6 times further than one band by any means, but there's still loads of tension in those bands and still loads of unwind for a significant amount of time, but just not enough torque to push me along. And without driving the gears, there's even more. So 6 bands in a line only got us about double the distance we got with one band, so now I've decided to put the clamp on the second band and see how that goes for us. Now of course we've got a lot of extra mass to carry, so basically the results aren't very good at all even with 2 bands in a line, and they're wound up really tight. So just going to keep winding and see what the absolute max is we can get out of 2 bands. That feels pretty tight and it's pretty hard to push back. So less distance than 6 bands and still loads of unwind in there, which we've just wasted. And it only got us a little bit further than 1 band, and the band's overwound, so it's all deformed at the bottom.
So obviously 6 bands gets us much further than 1 band or 2 bands, but it doesn't get us 6 times further. And that makes a lot of sense, because if you laid all those bands out in a long line and had one really long elastic band, you wouldn't get as much torque, because basically once it's unwound a bit, it's all long and floppy, and we don't get as much torque as 1 band multiplied by 6. So what I'm going to do instead of putting 18 bands in a long line is basically use 3 lots of 6 in parallel with 3 sets of bevel gears onto the output.
A massive thanks to Simply Bearings for all the bearings for this project. Of course, there's one bearing at the end of each of those 18 bands. And yes, I still had to line them up and cut all the corners off so that they don't touch each other as they rotate. So we've now got that output axle with 3 bevel gears on it and 3 little bevel gears to support our 3 columns of bands. Those are my 3 bottom bands installed, and now I need the extra 10 to make my 3 columns of 6 in total. So here's the whole thing together with all 18 bands fitted in 3 columns of 6, and each column goes out to the output, which is still a 6:1. At the very back here we can see the top bands finish without any rotation mechanism. Those are just on little handles so the top doesn't rotate. Right. So just pushing that a short distance, you can see those bands all cascade through, and then it pushes me back almost straight away after a couple of meters. And remember, it pushing me back the distance I pushed it means that we've got the most efficient ratio of bands and torque and output ratio. So I'm pretty hopeful this is going to be pretty good. So I just need to wind it all up really. You can see the bottom ones are getting wound more than the top, and that's basically because of friction in the gears. So that's not the most efficient, but if I keep pushing you can see it is actually winding up those top bands. It's starting to get really hard to push, and I'm a bit worried about overwinding the bottom bands and them snapping, and then I'll have to take it all to pieces again. I've only got one spare, so I'm going to give it a little test. But on the whole, that's not particularly impressive, and I'm not sure we even went further than we did in the workshop. And there's not much torque left in there really to push it even without me on it. Well, there's only one thing to do, and that is wind it up until all the bands look like they're wound up. I've put a box down there, which is where I'm going to attempt to start so we can measure how far we've gone from a marker. Feels like such an awful back, well, that's starting to get really hard to push, so I think we're getting there.
Right.
Yep, pretty sure that's going to do for now.
Right. But
So there's a little bit left in it, but not enough torque to push me, and it hasn't actually rotated out very far.
still a little bit left in it. So I forgot the tape measure, so we're going to have to measure it in lengths of rubble sacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 rubble sacks.
Each rubble sack is 30 inches long or 76 centimetres, and that means that 13 sacks got us 9.88 metres or 32 foot 5 inches.
So I didn't wind it too much then because I didn't want to break any of the elastic bands. So now I'm going to do an unconservative wind, if I can push it, and see if it'll go even further.
So we're winding it as much as I can physically push or pull it until the front wheels come off the ground, because there's so much torque on the back axle that we just can't go and wind that anymore. If I push from the other end, there's not enough traction on the ground and the wheels slip. So that's going to be about as far as we can possibly push it, and I can only just hold it back. So we got some more inertia to help carry us forward this time, because we probably went faster, so there's hardly any unwind left in it, at least not much of any use.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 rubble sacks. So these belts don't look too bad, they don't look overstretched. The middle one's a bit saggy, so I think we might have overdone it really, but the ones here look okay. But obviously they didn't get all the force because friction has stopped it on those gears, so this isn't very efficient.